Starting over yet again. Okay. So you ever have one of those moments where like, tomorrow is my day. Tomorrow I'm starting over. I'm going to do this, this, and that. Except everything I had to do was outside. And look at it. It's all gloomy. And raining. Like it has been thundering and lightning. Like it was not even umbrella friendly to go outside and walk this morning. So I didn't. I cleaned up weird things around my house instead, which should make me feel more productive and better, but it doesn't really, yeah, not so much. So, these things happen. They just happen. It's okay. All right. No. So, I've been... All right. So, follow along. It's raining. Whatever. Okay. January 25th of 2022, I decided to change my schedule and start getting up between 5 and 5:30 again. Well, actually, that wasn't January. That was in, like, later, like May or June. In January, I just wanted to be up by 6:30. Like, move it an hour. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got up that early or earlier. Like I did laundry, I cleaned things around my house, like that kind of thing. And then if you don't know, like last summer, like I was feeling messed up inside, like depressed and down. Like what is wrong with me? So I've never been to a psychiatrist before. I've only been to like a psychologist or a counselor or a therapist. So I went to go see a psychiatrist at the recommendation of my GP. And they put me on Lexapro. I will say that like after a month, I felt amazing. But after 2 months, not so much. I felt kind of zombie-esque and was gaining more weight, which was not helping the way I was feeling. It just wasn't good. So by October, November, I had weaned myself off of that and decided I didn't want to do that anymore. When I was younger, I used to have panic attacks and they would give me Klonopin and Xanax and I just didn't like it. I don't like the way I don't like the way that felt. And I knew the source of my panic attacks. So like it was something that, well, I guess there was a period of time when it couldn't be eliminated because it was like stalking and lawsuits and just weird things. And it really took a toll on my mental health, and the mental health thing like caused me to gain a lot of weight, which caused a toll on my physical health. And I've kind of been dealing with these like harassment, stalking, like just being sued for stupid shit by the same person now for about since 2008. So that's like 13 years. Last summer, it started to subside a bit. And I think like it's starting to subside. I didn't realize, like I didn't know if it was going away or if I was like, or if some, like another, you know, am I waiting for the other foot to drop? Like what the fuck? What's going on? Should I be nervous? Is it okay to like just be now? And that's, I was scared and like nervous, depressed. It was bad last summer. And it was bad because the familiarity of being bothered stopped. It was very strange. Like, because after a while, something happens to you long enough, you're like, oh, so-and-so, like, oh, it's just gross. Like, I don't understand the whole stalking stuff and that, but harassment. Stalking stuff subsided a few years ago, but the online harassment and the email harassment still continues to this day. However, like last summer, I want to say it dropped down to like a third of what it normally was. And now it's, I get bothered maybe twice a month, where it used to be every day. Then it went to every other day. Yeah, it was lovely. All right, but and it's a family member. So there's no escaping that kind of shit. Like, because somebody always, you know, unless I cut myself off from my entire family, I've already had to cut myself off from half. That's like enough. But, you know, you figure out who you can trust and who you can't. So with that happening, and then going to see the psychiatrist, and then doing the Lexapro, they offered me so much stuff. Nobody cared to talk to me. They're like, well, you can go see a counselor for that. I'm like, so you just give me like mind-altering drugs without... All right, gotcha. So that didn't work. And so in January, I thought, you know, I'm going to go back to a time in my life where my schedule worked. And I felt good. The problem is I have a child now. And my schedule is determined based on her schedule. And I used to be able to get up. I like to get up between 5 and 5:30. I like to be gone out of my house between 6:30 and 7, you know, and like on my way. Now, when she was younger and in before and after school care or daycare, or if my mom was staying home with her, that wasn't an issue. But I don't want somebody else prepping her from school. I don't want somebody else picking her up from school. It's not necessary because I'm self-employed. I work a mile from the house. I should be able to figure this out. So it's kind of like, well, I can get up at 5:30, but I have 3 hours until I can actually leave the house. And then it kind of started when she was in first grade, and that, like, I just started sleeping later and later and later. My depression got worse. And then with the other stuff, it just, whatever. It compounded, my friend. So, I started getting up earlier in January. I would just try to find little things to do around the house, or sometimes I'd just get up and read a book or check my email or just something like that. And then I was listening to, who was doing the interview? Somebody was talking to the author of the 5 a.m. Club. I want to say it was Lewis Howes, but I'm not sure. It was either him or Tom Bilyeu. I don't know. If you don't follow like Lewis or Tom, I will put their links below because they're very interesting. And so is Tom's wife, Lisa. Podcast. Very interesting. So I read that book, and that made sense to me. But I still wanted to shake this like weirdo depression vibe that I had. So I went and got another therapist. And she's like, can you do me a favor? She's like, for 2 months, which I'm in week 7, so I have 2 more weeks to go. She goes, would you just get 8 hours of get up, pick the time you want to get up, and get 8 hours of sleep, and do that without electronics or anything. Just, and please, when you wake up, go outside. Go sit outside. Go get some vitamin D. And I want to say this woman, my therapist, she's probably in her like late 50s, early 60s. So I did that. I got up and I went outside, and I have to tell you, like, I felt better. But then, so mentally feeling better. Physically, nah, not so much. Work-wise, not so much. State of my house and my conditions of life, not so much. So, on June 8th, as I am going through this process of going to bed at a certain time, and am I blocking the camera? Oh, no, sorry. Going to bed, getting up on time. Like, my weight was still growing. I don't know why. I just don't know. My body is like severely fucked up from what I've done to it. And it's just like, just finding a way to cope. I mean, there was years where like I cried every day. And it's not like somebody was bothering me and I didn't know how to block it out. Like physically and mentally and financially, this person was bothering me. Like, go the fuck away. And they wouldn't go away. Oh, you're gonna do that? Well, then I'll see you over here. You have to show up in court or I went by default. Like, it just messed up shit, okay? So, I've really had to compartmentalize my life, which has, like, it's a survival skill. Like, I had to get rid of certain people that had contact with this other person, even though I had no problem with the middle people. It was just getting weird. So as I'm going through this process and I'm getting all this weight, it was like June 8th. I'm like, you know what? Like, I cannot do this alone. I cannot do this with a therapist. I cannot, like, depend on my husband and that to help me, because he just doesn't know. Like, he would love to, but he just doesn't get. We're just very different. So I hired a life coach, because on June 8th, when I stepped on the scale and weighed 200 pounds, I about lost my fucking mind. And I'm just like, that's it. I have literally doubled in size. My life is falling apart. Like, well, it's not falling. I felt like I was, like, on this downward, like, I'm gonna slide down the hill and crash into a wall. Like, it's bad. And I can see it coming. Not because I want to focus on that, but that is just the reality. That is, like, where it was headed. So I initially hired a business coach to help me with my 3 businesses. Now, my businesses are still making money. I go to work every day. I'm not the most productive when I'm there, but I'm going. And these are the kind of things that, like, I'm noticing over time, and they're bothering me. And then the whole hitting 200 pounds was just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm done. So I make a call, get a life coach, right? So I used a service because I couldn't pick one out locally, because it just, like, it was very hard to do. It was like finding an attorney through the yellow pages. Like, you can pick it, but, like, I don't know their strategy. I don't know, like, what the training is, whatever. So I went through the Robbins Research Institute to find my life coach, okay? And they paired me up with somebody who has, like, she owns her own business. She's very into fitness. She has taken back her life, her health, and now she helps other people doing that. And I thought that, like, the main focus when we started was I called on June 8th, and I had my first appointment, I think, on June 23rd. Does that sound right? Yeah, June 23rd. And just, like, setting up little goals. So I thought I would be working on my business first, and she would be helping me with the issues I have there. And she's like, no, we don't, I like, your health needs to be in order for you to be successful in any other space of life at this time. So that comes first. And, like, I'm very sedentary. I didn't used to be that way. I danced every day. I walked or ran 3 miles a day after I had my daughter. So I had my daughter in 2012. So this was, like, 4 years into, like, the lawsuit type stuff and the harassment. And I will say this, that my daughter probably saved my life, because I think had I not gotten pregnant and had something else to focus on at that time, that I would have been looking for other ways out, because it was to a point where, like, I just didn't know what to do. I could not escape this person. I couldn't, like, there was just no escaping it. It was horrible. And I needed something that was bigger than me and bigger than God at that time too. I did start going back to church though, the November. Actually, I went back to church like the first week of October, and then, like, 6 weeks later I was pregnant. So I think God knew. Like, it was bad. But, like, I had really bad postpartum depression after that. It's like all these little things, they just built up over time. And I, like, after I got pregnant and after I had after I got pregnant, I still kind of walked in that and tried to do it through the pregnancy, but I was swelling and miserable, and, like, I just didn't want to move. And I pretty much stopped moving after I had Peyton. Like, I tried. It just was not, I just didn't have, like, sorry, it's so wiggly, like, the motivation, the will, whatever it is, to, like, go beyond what I needed to do at that point. So my life coach, her name is Angie, not to be confused with my mother-in-law, Angie. But my life coach name is Angie. And on June 23rd, she had me start walking a mile a day. Like, I get up, I brush my teeth, I put on my workout clothes, and I go outside and I walk a mile. And my therapist wanted me to be outside for an hour. So I'm not really into the gardening thing at the time. I was, but I'm like, well, I could walk. So I started off just like walking, moseying around for a mile and a half. And then I'm like, let me see if I can get back up to the 3 miles a day that I was. And I'm still working on that. Like, I started off, by the end of the first 4 weeks, I was up to 2 miles a day. Then I tried to jump it to 3 in week 5, and my body was like, nope, we can't do 3 yet. So I'm at 2.5 right now. And then I haven't changed my diet much because we have had like graduation party, birthday parties, graduation, birthday. The last birthday party of the summer was this past weekend. And I plan on changing the diet portion today. But I didn't get to walk today outside because it's raining. It was thundering and lightning. Normally, if it's just like drizzling, I will get an umbrella and a raincoat and go out. But it was like, no. And then you hear on the news all these people getting hit by lightning lately. I'm like, I don't think so. I think I'll just stay inside. So I have to squeeze in a 2-mile walk sometime today. I'm not sure how, but we're going to try and fit that in. And I've lost my Fitbit. I'll have to go back and find that. Yeah. So, this is week 7 of just getting up between 5 and 5:30, going outside and walking at least 2 miles a day. Sometimes, if it's raining, I don't go, like thundering and lightning. Otherwise, I go. So today I did not go because it's raining, and yesterday I did not go because I was at a sleepover party, even though I'm 44. Well, I didn't actually sleep over at the party, but it was a sleepover party. I'm too old for that kind of stuff. Like, I have my routine. There's too much shit to bring for my face and this. Like, no. But I love it. So happy birthday to Christine. I love you. Your party was fabulous. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep you posted on my workout stuff and how it's going. I will say though that since I have been getting up between 5 and 5:30 and walking every day, the depression and anxiety has very much subsided. That and the sleep. I didn't realize how not having enough daylight, like experiencing enough daylight, was affecting me, because my warehouse that I spend 8 to 12 hours a day in doesn't have any windows. It's just fluorescent lights and whatever. So it's just nice to feel okay. Like, I can't express to you how much more okay I feel. Like, it's great. It's great. And I think I need that. Just, I go outside, and when I walk, sometimes I do an audiobook, sometimes I'm taking a class, sometimes I do a Spanish lesson, sometimes I just listen to the birds and the chipmunks until I can't stand it anymore. And then, I'm good. I had no idea that going outside for an hour every morning was going to have this kind of effect on me. And I'm kind of nervous for when winter comes, and it gets dark earlier. Like today, sunrise wasn't even until 5:52. And I'm just not comfortable, like, walking in the dark. So I have to figure out a solution for rainy days in winter, which I'll figure that out by the end of this week. But I do have to go to work because I do have a job. I will keep you posted on this life coaching, therapy, weight loss, build your business stronger journey that I'm on. But thank you for listening. I'll talk to you later. Bye.